Hello and welcome to the Repurpose Your Purpose podcast. My name is Aurora Minigallo, and this podcast is about doing work you love. I've been on a hiatus here for a little bit and coming back with new energy. And today I really want to talk about changing careers in the age of uncertainty. I think more than ever, we are living through increasing change. It's very unsettling, at least right here in the United States. I'm recording this in March 2025, and it's scary. But this podcast episode is not just about what's happening today, because what's happening today is maybe like an even stronger moment in time that is still part of a trend that we've been seeing for a long time. So let me talk a little bit about the situation when it comes to work here in the United States, based on statistics I've seen from last year, so not even right now, from last year. Most people at work, so more than half, are not happy with what they're doing. And I saw something that said something like 10% or 9% of people were in their dream career. Okay, I'm talking about employees here. So do even your own personal unscientific poll and ask people what degree they got at university if they went to college. Right? And you might see that the majority is not doing what they studied. Okay. In other words, they either already changed careers, or it turns out they studied something that, while it was great to learn, and maybe some of that helps them at their current job, is not directly related to what they do. Even for me, that's true. I went to a fine art school and I studied fine art photography. So even when I was a wedding photographer, I wasn't really using, some of the things I learned in school. My school was very fine art. So I think it's really, really important to understand that if you're not happy with what you're doing, if you feel the need to change, the desire to change, that is more common than not these days. Okay. Something else that I encounter a lot, and you probably have seen or already experienced, is when people have children. Often they feel they want some change. Sometimes it's some change in the same field, right? More flexibility and their needs change, maybe where they live and so forth. But sometimes they feel something more fundamental shifted within them. And this can prompt deeper, inner work, and really coming face to face with what do I want to do? Now I'm all grown up for real. So there are all sorts of situations. Now, in a way, that is good news that a lot of people are in the same boat, because I think even from when I started Repurpose Your Purpose, I don't know, 8 years ago, whenever it was, like a long time ago now, career change has become way more normalized. Okay. One of the insight I had when I started this is that I really could tell that, well, a lot of people change careers, a lot of people want to change careers, but there wasn't much of a conversation. Since then, I think more and more people are being open about it, talking about it, and that is to your advantage if you're thinking about changing careers, because, people are not going to have as many maybe prejudices as we might have imagined before. Okay. Now, the age of uncertainty, what is very, very tricky right now is that things are in flux. And they've been changing very fast for years already. Change is increasing, it's becoming more radical, and I don't think is going to stop anytime soon. In other words, if you're thinking I'm going to change career, but I'm going to wait a couple of months when things settle, I think we're in for, a few years of change. That's just, it's bad to predict the future, so who knows? But that's my feeling, is that this feeling of change and uncertainty is not going to disappear right away or very quickly. So what are you going to do? I think for me, what's really important is to learn how to actually be in the age of uncertainty and how to operate with this amount of change, rather than coming from a place of it shouldn't be this way, it should be that way. What I might agree with you on the should, I've learned that you don't accomplish much if you get stuck in how things should be and resisting what is. But if you actually open up to what is, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's scary, you find within yourself your own wisdom as to who do I want to be at this moment? What do I feel called towards? What are the next steps that feel right to me for me? What do I sense or see now that I'm opening my eyes, including my inner eye, to the flow, okay, to what it's out there? And especially in times of change, we're also called to be present to not only what we want to do with our own life, but what role do we want to play if there's bigger change that we feel called to be part of, okay? Or not, right? But the important thing is to not, let me put it this way. I record this in one take, so it's very raw, right? So you're getting my thoughts as they're coming to me. Although I have to say, I think about this a lot. This is one of the main things I think about, change and career change and so forth. So a lot of the time when we are thinking about changing careers, we're not happy about what we're doing. The thought goes in some direction of, it shouldn't happen to me, I shouldn't be this way, I should have done XYZ, like I should have studied something different, I shouldn't have quit my job, all those things, regrets. If I only could, if I only had this money, if I only could do this, I would be okay. People will judge me for it. You judge yourself for it. There's all these thoughts that take us again out of reality into the realm of more and more and more thinking. You go in circle. There's no good ideas there most of the time. It gets you down. This is where being with what is so important. Okay, so that applies, those thoughts can apply to you. That can also apply to the larger situation, right? It shouldn't be like this. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to be okay, that you have to be okay with whatever is going on. But let's look at what helps us move forward, and specifically in this topic, within this context of career change. One, when it comes to yourself, developing 3 things: compassion for yourself. Like any thought that comes up about what you should have done, what you didn't do, all that kind of stuff in the past, okay, I get it. I have things too that now that I'm older, look back and I regret, right? I think it's the price we pay to live longer, okay? That means you're growing as a human. You have to have compassion. And if you need to do some grieving for what you lost, you do some grieving. But putting yourself down because of it is really harsh, is not going to help you, and it's quite frankly unfair. You did your best. And I know now you know that your best was not very good. That was still your best at the time. Okay? So compassion, really start moving from criticism, self-criticism to compassion. Second thing, things are changing, things are uncertain. It doesn't mean everything is gonna be bad. Doesn't mean that you have to go into la la land, I'm gonna manifest $1 million, that kind of stuff. But check within that you're not constantly living in a future full of fear, disempowerment, and bring yourself back to possibilities, to hope, or at the very least to what you have control over and can do right now, to courage. Okay? Number 3 has to do with the outside. Actually, I'm going to say 3 and 4. Okay. Number 3 is it's important to develop discernment between who we want to talk about, our career change, whose advice you want to spend time engaging with, and when you're getting pulled into other people's opinions and sometimes unhelpful opinions versus you following your own deeper knowing, or you listening to the people, the advice that you feel like, okay, this is helping me, this makes me feel more grounded, this gives me more energy, this gives me more clarity, or this opens up my heart, right? The 4th thing is out there, meaning whatever is happening at a bigger level. Again, the first step is to be with what is and not check out of it. This is not the moment to check out. It's the moment to be very present. And I know, because this is happening to me too. So I know this is difficult, but staying with your feeling and dropping behind them, see that your feelings or your sensations are guiding you, but you also don't want them to take over. You want to fall behind them in your mind, find that center within yourself, and with your eyes clearly open to what is, trust that center to know your next step. Or trust that sometimes you don't know, and the next step is to wait and see. That's okay too, right? As long as you don't get stuck there for years and years. All right. So I hope this helps. Career change in the age of uncertainty, I think, is a really big thing right now. And even though, as I said, now I think things are increasingly uncertain. That's always been what I worked on. Always, from day one, Repurpose Your Purpose was about you don't know what you want to do next. And we have this, cookie cutter approaches that really don't work, because out there it's complex, it changes, there's a lot of stuff going on. So how are you going to navigate it? So for me, one of the things, of course, is inner wisdom. I talk about that a lot if you follow my work. But the other thing, why I called my business Repurpose Your Purpose, is that when you have a sense of your purpose, which is not something you get from your head, it's something that comes from within. You already have it, you already know it. We just have to let go of whatever is clouding, that knowing. That is a powerful North Star. It's a powerful compass for you. And it gives you something that you can always count on. And it lets you free to then go with the flow and choose based on what is moment by moment, and sometimes long term, right? At some points we can make medium or long term choices, but sometimes we have to make moment by moment. So this is really what I work on with people. I work on, first of all, how do we get you to, develop that discernment to recognize your inner knowing, to trust your inner knowing, to reconnect with your strength, reconnect with what is important, with what works for you. Let go of all the rest that's clouding your mind and making everything so complicated and confusing where it doesn't have to be. And then I work only on practical, strategic approaches that are very human, right? And that really respect your timing so that you can, from your own knowing, and then with your head in the service of your knowing, you can choose your next step and move from being disempowered and stuck and overwhelmed or confused or, all these things to actually being in motion. If you're curious, check out repurposeyourpurpose.com. If you're not part of my mailing list, just sign up for the mailing list and you will be invited to a free library of resources that includes an ebook that is about offers some questions for you to reflect on your situation. Is it time for you to change careers right now? So I'll put a link to a blog post where you can download that directly. You will still have to join my mailing list, but then it will also email you that ebook directly. Otherwise, anywhere you can sign up for my mailing list and you will get access to the library of resources. The other thing, I work with people one-on-one. I'm going to have a group program probably later in the year, so you can sign up for the waiting list. I'm going to have that link as well. But I am taking individual clients on right now. So if you really feel like this is the time to work for a few months, I only start with people with a few months, not even 6 months at the beginning, just a few months to move out of this, I don't know what I'm doing, I feel a little bit lost on my career change, and you want to get some clarity, some grounding, some deeper knowing. Get in touch, repurposeyourpurpose.com. You'll find also there a form to get in touch with me to explore working together. All right, that's it for today. Stay strong and check it out at repurposeyourpurpose.com.